Can you believe our best friends are getting married?
Cash.
The movie begins with a young woman named Ava who returns to her hometown after being away for more than a year. She's back to attend her best friend Danica's engagement party. As she's getting ready, Ava carefully picks out her most beautiful dress, trying to boost her confidence. Deep down, she knows she's about to see her old high school love Milo at the party. When Ava arrives, the place is already buzzing with guests. Danica is thrilled to see her. It feels so good for them to be reunited after such a long time apart. As they chat, Ava notices Danica's fiancé, Teddy, who also happens to be the mayor's son and the most powerful businessman in town. Right beside him is Milo, and it's clear the two are close friends. Teddy is well aware of Ava and Milo's history, and he playfully encourages Milo to go talk to her. But even though Milo still has feelings for Ava, he pretends he's not interested, telling Teddy they're just friends now. Ava does the same, acting like she doesn't care when she's around Danica. But Danica can see right through her. She knows Ava still loves him.
Meanwhile, Teddy's father, Grant, welcomes the guests, congratulating Teddy and Danica on their engagement. Once the party ends, Teddy suggests that he and Danica take Ava and Milo on a small road trip outside of town to celebrate together. Just before they leave, Ava and Danica spot an old friend from high school, Stevie. Stevie works for the catering company cleaning up after the party. The moment she sees them, old memories come flooding back. Back in the day, everyone drifted away from her after her father ran off with all her tuition money, leaving her unable to go to college. Heartbroken and abandoned, Stevie spiraled into addiction and ended up in rehab. After recovering, she started working simple jobs just to survive.
When Teddy and Milo see her, they decide to invite Stevie to join them. They think this trip could be the perfect chance for Ava and Danica to fix their broken friendship with her. Danica isn't sure. It's obvious she remembers all of Stevie's struggles and doubts she'll accept the invitation. But Milo convinces Ava to go talk to her. Together, they approach Stevie and tell her they're heading to the mountains to watch the fireworks. At first, Stevie refuses because she still has work to finish, but her coworker encourages her to go. Eventually, she agrees to join them. Teddy grabs his car and hands the wheel to Danica. The group hits the road, laughing and having fun along the way, until they reach a quiet spot with a great view of the fireworks. Teddy, already drunk, stumbles into the middle of the road, joking around. Out of nowhere, a car speeds toward him, but Milo rushes in and pulls him away just in time. Instead of learning his lesson, Teddy keeps fooling around. Danica yells at him, but he ignores her. Suddenly, a truck comes barreling down the road. The driver swerves to avoid hitting Teddy, loses control, and slams into a barrier. The car skids dangerously close to the cliff's edge.
Panic erupts. The group rushes to pull the driver out, but the doors are jammed shut. Teddy struggles to open them while the others desperately hold onto the car, trying to stop it from plunging into the canyon. Despite their efforts, the vehicle slips away, crashes into the rocks below, and explodes into flames. The accident leaves everyone in complete shock. They all know they're responsible for the crash and the driver's death. Chaos breaks out among the group. No one knows what to do. They hesitate to call the police, but Teddy quickly takes control. Instead of dialing 911, he calls his father, explaining what happened and asking him to contact the authorities.
The weight of the situation hits Stevie the hardest. She angrily tells the others that she'll be the only one blamed for this because, unlike them, she doesn't come from a wealthy family. Their parents can protect them, but she has no one. Danica tries to calm her down, insisting nothing like that will happen. She tells Stevie that the road is notorious for accidents, so maybe it will all look like just another tragedy. Teddy backs her up, reassuring them that he's already spoken to his father, but warns that they need to leave the scene before the police arrive and spot them there. Reluctantly, they all agree and slip away into the night.
At a safe spot, Teddy swears that his father will handle everything and that no one will ever find out the truth. But before they part ways, he demands that Ava, Milo, and Stevie promise to keep this secret forever. They all swear an oath, though Ava is visibly shaken. Overwhelmed, she quietly walks away.
1 year later, Ava returns to town. At the airport, she runs into a girl named Taylor in the bathroom, and they strike up a quick conversation. Just then, Milo arrives to pick Ava up, and they offer Taylor a ride since she's headed in the same direction. During the drive, Taylor reveals that she's in town to record a podcast about the infamous 1997 massacre that once terrified the community. Ava and Milo brush it off, clearly uninterested, and drop her off before heading to Danica's house.
There, they discover Danica is preparing for her engagement party, this time to her new fiancé, Wyatt. She and Teddy broke up some time ago. Danica greets Ava warmly, and Stevie is also there, helping with the decorations. The group reunites like old times, and soon everyone gathers as Danica begins opening her gifts. She beams with joy until she opens one small envelope. Inside is a chilling note that reads, "I know what you did last summer." Danica freezes. Fear flashes across her face, and the others immediately notice her change in mood. When they press her, she forces a smile and nervously claims it's probably just a prank, though a cruel one. Taking advantage of Wyatt's arrival, she asks him to show the guests around the house so she can speak privately with Ava, Milo, and Stevie. Behind closed doors, she shows them the letter. Shaken, she admits she suspects Teddy. After all, only the four of them, and Teddy and his father, know what really happened that night. Milo questions her certainty, but Danica insists Teddy has the motive and the anger to want revenge.
Ava isn't so sure. She suggests it could be someone connected to the driver they killed. But Stevie quickly dismisses that idea. She did her research after the crash and discovered the man's name was Sam. He had no family, no relatives, not even a funeral beyond what the townspeople arranged. With that possibility eliminated, they decide they need to confront Teddy directly.
The three of them, Ava, Milo, and Stevie, head to the marina, where Teddy spends most of his days drunk on his yacht. It's clear he's been spiraling ever since his breakup with Danica. When they show him the note, Teddy laughs bitterly. He swears he had nothing to do with it, insisting he hasn't contacted Danica since the day they split. If she thinks the threat is directed at her, he says, that's her problem, not his. He coldly tells them to leave him alone.
That night, Danica is at home with Wyatt. Trying to calm her nerves, she draws herself a bath and sinks into the warm water, unaware that the nightmare is only just beginning. While Danica relaxes in the bathtub, Wyatt waits downstairs. Suddenly, he notices bright flashes outside, like fireworks, coming from the garden. Thinking someone is out there, he steps outside to investigate, but the yard is empty. As he turns back toward the house, an arrow suddenly pierces his back, dropping him to the ground.
Wyatt desperately crawls forward, but another arrow strikes him in the stomach. Gasping in pain, he begs his unseen attacker, insisting he'll give them anything they want if they just let him live. Then, out of the shadows, a terrifying figure emerges. A masked killer dressed in black, his face completely hidden. In his hand, a sharp steel hook glints under the light. Without hesitation, the killer drives the hook into Wyatt's chest, finishing him off. Danica hears nothing. Her music drowns out Wyatt's screams. When she finally comes downstairs, she is horrified to find his lifeless body. Scrawled on the wall in his blood are the chilling words, "You can't erase the past." Soon after, Danica is at the police station with her friends, shaken and grieving. Ava tries to comfort her, while Teddy shows up, worried about Danica, but Milo blocks him, telling him it's not the right time. The next day, Danica gathers with Ava, Milo, and Stevie. They're convinced Wyatt's murder wasn't random. Someone is targeting them. But the big question is, why Wyatt? He had nothing to do with last summer's accident. Ava suddenly remembers Taylor, the girl she met at the airport, the one who came to town for a true crime podcast about the 1997 massacre. Suspicion falls on her. If Taylor isn't behind the killings, maybe she can at least help uncover the truth. Ava meets up with Taylor and confides in her about what's happening. Taylor takes her to a chilling place, the abandoned house where the original massacre began in the late 90s. Inside, she explains that the killer was known as the Fisherman. One of his most brutal attacks happened in this very house, but a young woman named Julie barely escaped with her life. Today, Julie lives far away, working quietly as a college professor. Taylor heads upstairs to investigate, while Ava waits below. Feeling uneasy, Ava texts Stevie her location, admitting she doesn't fully trust Taylor. Suddenly, a figure appears in front of her. At first, Ava thinks it's Taylor playing a prank, but then she hears Taylor's voice upstairs.
The masked killer lunges at Ava. She fights back, slashing his hand with a knife before being overpowered and locked inside a metal cage. The killer then hunts Taylor, who tries to escape by climbing onto an elevator cable, but the fisherman corners her, and despite her struggle, he brutally takes her down. At the same time, Stevie arrives at the house. Ava manages to free herself and open the door just in time for Stevie to rush inside. But before they can escape, they stumble upon a horrifying sight: Taylor's lifeless body hanging from a rope.
The next day, the town gathers for a community meeting led by Grant, who tries to downplay the events. He insists Taylor's death was a suicide, not a murder, hoping to keep investors from fleeing the town. But some residents don't buy it. Among them is Ray, one of the few survivors of the original massacre and Stevie's boss at work. Ray argues that 2 deaths in just 2 days can only mean one thing: the nightmare from 1997 is happening again. Grant urges calm, promising new safety measures, and Ava reluctantly believes him. She, Milo, and Stevie head to the local impound lot, searching for the car from last summer's accident. They discover a disturbing twist. The car actually belonged to a priest named Father Gill, and the driver, Sam, the man who died, had stolen it. Meanwhile, Danica and Teddy visit Sam's grave, hoping to uncover answers. They're startled to find fresh flowers placed on it. Suspicious, they ask the cemetery caretaker if they can check the security cameras. But before he can retrieve the footage, the fisherman strikes, slashing the man's throat right in front of them. When the caretaker takes too long, Teddy leaves Danica alone at the cemetery and goes to check on him. That's when the fisherman suddenly appears, chasing Danica through the graves. She hides inside a nearby mausoleum, but the killer corners her, raising his deadly hook for the final strike. At the very last second, Teddy bursts in, tackling the fisherman and saving Danica. The killer slips away into the darkness, vanishing without a trace. Shaken, Teddy takes Danica home to rest. There, Ava and Milo join them to comfort her. Later that night, Milo invites Ava to his place, hoping to spend some quiet time together. But tragedy strikes again. While grabbing his phone charger from his car, Milo is ambushed by the fisherman. The killer strangles him with a rope, snaps his neck, and then cruelly sends Ava a text from Milo's phone, making it seem like Milo went out for the night. Meanwhile, Ray pays a visit to Julie. She's not happy to see him. Ray scolds her for letting Ava investigate the killer on her own, warning that Ava and her friends could end up just like Julie's friends decades ago. But Julie coldly dismisses him. The next morning, Danica and Ava head to the church to question Father Gill. He becomes agitated when they ask about Sam. While Ava keeps him distracted, Danica sneaks into his office, searching his belongings. To her horror, she finds photos of Gill with Sam, proof they knew each other. Suddenly, Ava texts her, "Gill's coming your way." Danica hides just in time. After escaping the church, the girls go straight to the police station and accuse Gill of being the killer who murdered Wyatt and Taylor. But instead of helping, the officer stalls them and secretly calls Grant, who instructs him to hold the girls, at least until the 4th of July celebrations are over. That night, Teddy is drinking at home when the fisherman attacks. Teddy fights back with everything he has, but the killer stabs him repeatedly. Teddy stumbles outside, collapsing in the yard. Grant rushes out of his house just in time to see his son dying in his arms. In a devastating twist, the fisherman slashes Grant's throat with his hook,
killing him too. Back at the police station, Danica and Ava are suddenly released without explanation. Confused, they follow the commotion outside, only to be horrified at the sight of both Teddy and Grant's bodies hanging on display. Danica breaks down, blaming herself for all the deaths, especially since both men who loved her are now gone. Nearby, they discover Milo's abandoned car. When Ava opens the back seat, she screams. Milo's lifeless body is stuffed inside. Overwhelmed with grief, Ava and Danica collapse in shock. Stevie arrives and quickly takes the two girls to a boat, desperate to escape town before the fisherman claims them too. Meanwhile, the police raid the church, planning to arrest Father Gill, but inside, they make a chilling discovery. Gill is already dead, his body arranged in a ritualistic position. As they search the room, they uncover a photograph of Gill and Sam. The true shock comes when they notice someone else in the picture, Stevie, standing right beside Sam. Out at sea, Danica, Ava, and Stevie sail deeper into the dark waters, unaware of the terrifying truth about who they're really with. Suddenly, the killer appears before them, and to their shock, it's revealed to be Stevie, their own friend.
Stevie coldly explains that Sam, the driver they killed last summer, wasn't just anyone. He was her closest friend, the only person who stood by her when everyone else abandoned her. He helped her forget the painful memories of losing her best friends. On the night of the accident, Sam had borrowed Father Gill's car to look for her, after hearing from her classmate that she left with Ava and the others. Fearing she might relapse into her old trauma, he went after her, but instead, he was killed by Danica and her friends.
Stevie tells them she didn't realize it was Sam until the news broke the next day. From that moment, she vowed revenge. They took away the one person she loved most, and now she would destroy them in return. She taunts Danica and Ava, saying she enjoyed killing the boys they cared for, just to shatter their hearts the way they shattered hers. Now, all that's left is to finish what she started and disappear from town forever.
Danica and Ava fight back, rushing to the top deck of the boat, but Stevie overpowers Danica, pressing the deadly hook against her throat. At that exact moment, Ray arrives in his boat, having spotted their struggle. He climbs aboard, pleading with Stevie to stop, but she refuses to listen. In a shocking turn, she drives the hook into Danica's chest and throws her overboard. Ray pulls out a gun and shoots Stevie, sending her crashing into the sea. Believing the nightmare is finally over, Ray takes Ava back toward the harbor. Meanwhile, Ava calls Julie, revealing that Stevie was the killer. But she also points out something chilling. Stevie couldn't have been working alone. On the night Taylor was murdered, Stevie had been with Ava, even saving her life. That means someone else was helping her. Julie pieces the clues together and makes a terrifying realization. Ray is the accomplice.
Back on the boat, Ava grows uneasy. When Ray removes his jacket, she notices a wound in the exact spot where she slashed the fisherman with her knife earlier. Her blood runs cold. Ray is the other killer. Ray admits the truth. He partnered with Stevie because he felt betrayed by the system. After the massacre years ago, he lost everything: his future, his friends, his life. No one cared about the survivor's pain, so when Stevie came to him with her story, he agreed to help her get revenge. The plan all along was for him to kill Stevie in front of Ava and Danica, so no one would suspect her. When Ava tries to escape, Ray stabs her in the back. Just as he prepares to finish her, Julie arrives, confronting him for everything he's done. Ray insists he's only giving the town what it deserves: fear, chaos, and pain, the same things he's carried for years. Apologizing, he tells Julie she won't be leaving alive, but Julie calmly warns him, "You won't have the chance." Behind him, Ava, barely alive, rises to her feet and shoots Ray with an arrow, killing him. At the same time, waves crash against the shore, and we see Danica, still alive, washed up on the beach. Sometime later, Danica and Ava are discharged from the hospital. They sit together on the beach, eating quietly as they reflect on everything that happened. Ava finally asks the question, "What about Stevie?
What if she's still out there? Danica stares out at the ocean, her eyes cold with determination. Then we'll find her, and this time, we'll make her pay. And with that, the screen fades to